It is time for another edition of Brownie Bites. He's Daryl Ruiter. I'm Andy Baskin. It's the postgame edition and the Holy Schmidt edition that we've all been waiting for to say, especially after 2 weeks ago, as the Browns win by scoring 13 points in the final 3:38 to beat the Green Bay Packers. Daryl Ruiter, I still can't believe it.
This is a game that, let's be honest about, in this building, the Browns never win games in this fashion in this building. They usually lose that way in this building. The shoe was on the other foot, but what a spectacular effort defensively. They are for real. That is a Super Bowl caliber team that they beat on Sunday in the Green Bay Packers, number one. Number two, they stuck with it offensively. Kevin Stefanski talked about after the game how the big difference in the final 3:38 was field position. You had the defense come away with their first takeaway since last season. Grant Delpit with the huge interception. We thought Devin Bush punched the football out. Replay center said, well, when they looked at it, they saw four hands on that football, so they couldn't conclusively rule that the Browns had recovered the fumble.
And Kevin had said post-game, if they would have said Browns ball immediately, then the Browns would have got it.
Right.
That was the difference, was the call.
100%.
It was that close.
100%. And then you have Shelby Harris, the veteran defensive tackle, who is the king of batting passes. He made arguably, one of about 12 plays of the day in the final 3:38, blocking what would have been a go-ahead field goal with less than a minute to play. The Browns went ahead and recovered it. Quick field. David Njoku catching the ball, and the execution with 12 seconds on the clock, 8-yard pass to Njoku.
Gutsy call. It was gutsy.
Oh, absolutely. Kevin Stefanski conceded after the game. Usually that's called with 15 to go.
Right.
You feel really good. But you say, you know what, we've drilled it, we've practiced it, we try it, so we felt good doing it.
It was as impressive as the catch was. I mean, the fact that they were able to get that line so fast afterwards was pretty amazing.
And no penalty for everyone got set the way they were.
Right.
I will give the officiating crew credit. Johnny on the spot to touch the ball to put it in play,
right,
so that they could kill it. The execution was flawless. The throw to Njoku, making sure he was down, ball in perfect position, everyone getting up, getting set. They did it in 10 seconds because there were 2 seconds left on the clock. As I was watching, I was like, they're going to run out of time. The clock is moving. I don't know if they're going to get this off. If they do, it's going to be one tick on the clock. They got two. And then Andre Schmidt coming on, as you mentioned, after what happened 2 weeks ago here, bangs home the 55-yard field goal that, oh, by the way, that thing would have been good from 65. He absolutely crushed that ball through the
So you're
uprights.
saying they didn't need the pass to Njoku. Is that what you're trying to say? No, I'm just kidding. Listen, when you go back and think about this game, I think a lot's going to be said about what they were able to do and score and special teams in the last 3:38, but it was all because of the defense. In fact, this was the first time that the Browns offense didn't win the time of possession battle in the first three games. They won the first game. They won the second game. Today, Green Bay had the ball for almost 35 minutes in this game. The defense was tired, and, man, they came up rock solid at the end of the game. They easily could have been out of gas.
Yeah, 100%. And the offense, I had posted on X in the fourth quarter. I'm like, man, this 10-0 deficit feels like it might as well be 30-0 because the offense couldn't get anything going. At one point, they were like 3 for 11 on third down. They couldn't sustain any drives whatsoever. Joe Flacco was just trying to get the ball out. He was missing guys that were open down the field. And he talked about that in the post-game press conference. We'll hear from Joe here in a little bit. But, it felt like they were dead in the water. And then once Grant Delpit came up with that interception, right? Because remember, a couple of possessions earlier, they had the ball at they had the ball like at the 1 yard line.
And then got pushed back.
Their first points in that game was a result
of
getting
a touchdown.
Yeah, it should have been a touchdown, but they got pushed back, had to settle for a field goal. That made it 10-3. And then, after that, after Delpit came up with that interception, it changed the tone of everything. Getting that interception, Quinshawn scores the touchdown to tie the game at 10. And then, like I said, Shelby gets that massive block. It looked like the Packers were going to win the game. He blocks the field goal. And Greg Newsome did a great job hustling to recover the loose ball. And, with less than a minute to play, they were able to get themselves in a spot where they could go ahead and win a football game. It's just that we're not used to seeing that type of pinpoint execution. Let's hear from Kevin Stefanski, some of his thoughts following the win.
Obviously really proud of that football team in there, feeding off of each other. was not always easy. And listen, that's a great football team on the other side. I have a ton of respect for Coach LaFleur and that group. That's a great team. And we battled to the end and made those plays when we needed to, and just fed off of each other and complemented each other. And we get that big takeaway from Grant, sets us up. We get a big play, obviously, from Q early. We get a stop. We get a block from Shelby. So it was just everybody. And then Dre came through at the end. I'm really proud of that young man. I'm happy for that young man. He's been through a lot, and he came through. So really happy for him. And it's this is the NFL. It's hard. You're going to go up against some tough teams and some tough matchups, and you're going to have to fight, scratch, and claw. And I thought our team did that today. For me, I get to watch this team work. I get to watch these coaches work, and when you don't get the results you want in the first couple, you want it for them. I wanted that ball to go through uprights for Andre. I wanted that team to fight till the last minute, to the last second in this case, and come away with a win, because they deserve it based on how hard they work. Well, I'm pretty confident because we've worked it. Now that's right at the cusp. We're going to make it onto a lot of training tapes this week in the NFL, because teams are going to say, can you do that in 12? And it's been done right around there, but you have to be great. Joe knew it. Dave knew it. All the guys knew it. So you practice those looks. Typically, you say 15 seconds. I just had a lot of confidence in that group to get it done. I think our defense is playing at a high level, and what I love about our defense is how we play as much as what we do, and the schemes we play. Just watch us play. Watch our guys come off the ball. Watch them run to the ball. Watch them celebrate with each other. That's an infectious group over there. I think the big thing there is we need them to call that a fumble recovery by us. They did not feel like there was enough video information to call the recovery by us. So it's clearly a fumble. I need them in the moment to see that it's a fumble, give us the football, because it's just too hard when the ball's in a pile to say definitively who comes away with it. It has to be a clear recovery. Anytime it gets in a pile, it's really, really hard. So I'd prefer if they see the fumble on the front end.
I thought Kevin was humble, respectful, and kept dwelling on the fact that, complimentary football. That's all we heard about was complimentary football.
Well, you know what they did last week, right?
Yeah.
In team meetings, Kevin would randomly call.
I don't think he was a big fan that got out to the.
No, he was not. He was not thrilled that it did, but it worked. You know,
Right.
and he called on guys in team meetings, and they have to compliment the teammate or a coach. Kevin made the joke on Friday that one of his assistant coaches got fined for a compliment. But no, I mean, it's doing little things like that sometimes you got to think outside the box. Not everything has to be X's and O's football. And I thought that was just a unique way of kind of just driving home that point that, you're all in this together. And one of the key points made after the game, and let's hear from him now, Joe Flacco talking about how the team stayed together even though this offense, they couldn't move a little mountain of sand if they wanted to until late in the football game. Here's some of what Joe Flacco had to say afterwards.
Today was a day completely filled with that type of thing. I mean, you could probably imagine, but you don't really know because you haven't experienced it. But when you're running out in the field, after however many minutes of not putting a point on the board, it's hard, it's hard. And you got to be able to keep a straight face and somehow keep it together. And, we talked all week about playing complementary football. And I don't think until you experience it, you truly understand, what that could possibly mean. But today, I feel like we spoke it into existence today, and we came out of here with a win because of it. Yeah, you go in and you tell everybody, hey, we got to get down, we got to clock it here. So get down, clock, and then you give them the play, and you trust on the fact that you've practiced it a million times. At the end of the day in training camp and throughout the spring and all that, and that everybody's going to get up, get set. The guys that need to be on the ball are going to be on the ball. The guys that need to be off the ball are going to be off the ball. And you give them one last little check and you spike it. And we did it exactly how you would want to do it. That's what it's all about. I talked about it. It's hard. It's hard to do to go out there and play in games like today, and keep it together. But that's what football is sometimes. And I mean, we have talked about it. The type of defense that we have, and just going out there and capitalizing on turnovers and not making mistakes yourself. And, it wasn't pretty today. And there were, it was tough. There was times where there probably were guys down the field that were open, and it's just, I didn't make it happen. And you feel for the group as a whole. I mean, everybody wants to go out there and perform and put up numbers, points, yards, all that stuff. And part of your job as a quarterback is to get that done. But also your job is to win a football game and just play your role in whatever that may be. And I think today, as tough as it can be, we won a football game. And it was hard. It's hard when you're in your own stadium and you can't put points on the board and everybody feels it and you feel it. But you got to keep going out there and doing your job and having faith that, something's going to happen and we're going to get it done.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear what Joe got into, especially the fact that, hey, it's easy for guys to start yelling at each other. It's easy for guys to get frustrated. It's easy for this or for that. I think what's going to get lost in this game, though, is really how good the Packers are and how good their defense is. And if you go back and think, last year, Green Bay played 5 AFC opponents. They beat all 5. There were only 3 teams in the NFC that were able to do that. And I think overall it's like there was a 4-game losing streak the Browns had to the Packers. I'm sure you have to date back to the pre-Browns. I'm just trying to think if they got an early win against them in the.
Yeah,
but we just don't play the Packers that often. So it was a big win. It was a historic moment for a stadium that doesn't have a lot of great memories like that.
No, this building has been a house of horrors for the team that plays in it, right? I
Right.
mean, and as I said at the top of the show here, I mean, this is not how the Browns win games in this building. This is how their opponents win games in this building. And the fact that you came from behind against a Super Bowl contending team like the Packers, Kevin Stefanski's after those guys are really good. Like, you can talk about the offense.
They are really good.
You can talk about the offensive struggles all you want, okay? And that is real. For about 57 minutes in this football game, that offense was pretty painful to watch. But, they got a big spark for Quinshon Judkins,
Right.
which was great. The 30-plus yard run, which I think might have been like the longest play of the season for this team.
Right.
Through 3 weeks.
He had the longest play coming into it, too.
Right.
Not bad for a guy that only had 2 days of practice before he started the season.
Yeah.
What does that say about training camp?
Well, yeah. Well, here's the other part. The rookies. Okay? You want to talk about keys to victory.
Oh.
All the rookies. Carson Schwetzinger got his first sack. He was all over the field. We talked about Q and his contribution. Harold Fannin Jr.
He is impossible to take down.
Had a great catch and just the effort after
that
the
was
catch.
the rookie drive that led to the touchdown too, if you think about it, because it was 2 rookies that set that thing up.
I mean, it really was. So Schmidt with the game winner, like the rookie class today performed at a winning level, and I know we always like to think like big picture about what might happen after this season, depending how things go.
It feels like there's a foundation being built.
And
you're not even using one of the 2 quarterbacks.
Right, and this rookie class might save a job.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
Oh, that is true. All right, let's dig a little bit deeper into the defense. Myles Garrett spoke after the game. Here's what he had to say.
This is how you win games. It's not always going to be pretty. It's not always going to be a shootout. And we can't always hold them to 0. There are going to be games where everybody's needed. And as you saw, it took everybody. As good as we want to be. And I think we can be as dominant as we want. As long as we stick together, we keep on playing together. We don't worry about the scoreboard. We execute what we know we can do, and be where we're supposed to be. We got talent on every part of the field. So I think as long as we keep our heads up, don't worry about the noise and what's going on around us, we can be the very best. I think it helps give belief and reason and the focus. Guys continue to still fight, push towards this goal that we have, and getting wins, gritty wins like that, make you realize what it's all for and what you can really do and achieve, if you just keep on chipping away. And I think that'll allow us to understand what we really have in our room, in our building, and just keep on grinding. Yes, absolutely, but you have to do that from week to week, and we're going to get every team's best, and we have to be at our very best. We have to stay healthy. We have to execute at a very high level, and we have to do it for 60 minutes, if longer, if need be. So I think we have what it takes. I think the men in the room are who we need. We got to prove it, week in and week out. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So, if I believe, the guys around me are going to believe. I'm going to go out there and keep fighting because I know that, if I give my very best, guys next to me, the guys behind me are going to do the very same, and outcomes like this happen.
Myles was really happy, and maybe I would probably say more so relieved because of just the effort that they put into that.
I mean, when you rank number one in the NFL in I don't know how many categories I was checking out earlier going into this thing, they were only giving up 191 yards per game. That was 30 or 40 yards better than any other team in the NFL. And if you go back to what Joe Flacco said about guys that could easily be screaming at each other, yelling at each other, they didn't. And, the defense had plenty to scream about. I felt like, and I think I had said this to you during the middle of the game, the defense is going to have to do something offensively to get something to happen here. And
they almost got a pick six.
Yeah.
I mean, they almost got a pick six. And, Grant Delpit lit the match, and it just blew up from there. They got the field goal. Okay, you're 3 on the board. Now it's a 1-score game. Get a stop, which they did in 30 seconds.
Right.
Incredible execution there to get off the field, get the ball back in the hands of the offense, score the touchdown, tie the football game. I mean, you could not have drawn that up any better as far as clock management down the stretch, play calling down the stretch, execution, attention to detail down the stretch. I mean, these are all areas in which the Browns historically, Andy, and it hasn't mattered the coach, it hasn't mattered the players, they just have always been deficient in those game-winning situations. Today, A's across the board.
So what's interesting to think about, though, is if they don't score those 13 points in the last 3:38, what a difference this would be. How many times was Kevin Stefanski asked in that press conference if Joe Flacco, if he thought about changing quarterbacks? If they were 0-3, that's all we'd be talking about this week, because only one team in this century has made it to the playoffs after starting 0-3, and we remember them well, the Houston Texans in 18. They started that season 0-3, and they were able to come back and make it. There's only been 6 teams in the history of the league that have come back to make the playoffs after that. And now it's just, now you don't sit here and think, wow, they were close to being 0-3. You think, wow, if they would have beat Cincinnati, what would we be talking about now?
Took the words right out of my mouth. Had they, made a kick, they'd be 2-1 right now. We would be.
It's not even make a kick. It's if they pull off a safety in that game. I mean, think about 1 yard is the difference between this team being 2-1 and 1-2.
Yeah, and I mean, it really is a game of inches. But you're right. I mean, and the entire perspective and outlook would be shifted as well, because you'd be sitting here saying, "Oh, beat Cincinnati in the opener, beat the Green Bay Packers, 2 teams thought to be contenders, right?" And hey, if you win against Cincinnati, who's to say things don't go a little different? Maybe don't win the game in Baltimore. Right. Maybe that game's a little closer than it was, right?
Right.
But
you also don't give up 23 points between special teams and
right.
and bad offense,
Right. So, I give them a lot of credit. I really do, because that was the ultimate grinded out type of win that you have to have. Flacco said it after hey, I've been part of these wins, so many of these type of wins. This is nothing new to me.
It is for Browns fans, though. It feels good, though.
Yeah, it is. And there were boos in the stadium today. The place,
go Pack, go! You could hear that loud and clear.
What did I?
Little Lambeau. I mean,
I got Andy earlier. I go, are they chanting for Joe Flacco? Is that what they're doing?
No.
And he's like, real serious, like, no, they're chanting "Go Pack, go." I go, yes, that was the joke.
Oh, that's you know what? We got to work in your delivery. You got to hit the punchline better. So, final thoughts?
On to Detroit now. Can they carry this momentum forward? Detroit obviously is going to be another tough opponent. This time they're going to be on the road. It's a very physical football team up there. So, can they put back-to-back wins together and get themselves back to 500? And if they can do that, then I think things really start to shift as far as the perception. But if you go up to Detroit and you aren't able to win, and you do fall to 1-3, then you sit there and you say, well, what good did that win the previous week against a Super Bowl contender in Green Bay actually do for you? But Kevin Stefanski, a lot of the players in the locker room talked about it as well. This one's over. They're going to celebrate it tonight. It's going to feel good. But once they walk into that building at 76 Lou Groza Boulevard first thing Monday morning, it's a little film review. On to the Lions.
A lot of Detroit this week. You'll be talking about it with baseball. You'll be talking about it with football as well. That's Brownie Bites. Thanks for watching us on YouTube right here on the 92.3 The Fan channel.